They say the road never forgets. Every mile, every scream, every secret, burned into the black asphalt like scars that never fade. And if you drive long enough, far enough into the night, you'll feel it. The weight of things that shouldn't be there. The United States is a country of endless highways, thousands of miles of concrete veins cutting through wilderness, deserts, mountains, and towns too small to name. Truckers call them lifelines. Travelers call them freedom. But the lonely stretches, the ones that go on for hours without a gas station, a diner, or even a flicker of human life, those are the ones that breed stories. Stories of lights in the fog, of women in white dresses standing by the shoulder, of passengers that appear in your back seat when you swear you're driving alone. Tonight, we travel down those roads. This is not a story about the living. It's about the ones who couldn't leave the highway behind, the ones who wave you down in the dark, the ones who never really make it home. It begins in Arizona, on a stretch of desert highway known for wrecks and burned-out cars. Locals whisper about a girl who waits at mile marker 117. Her name, they say, was Rebecca. She died in 1972, hitchhiking home from a concert. She was last seen in a white sundress, barefoot, walking along the road with her thumb out. She never made it home. Her body was found weeks later in the sand, bones scattered by coyotes, but her soul never left. Drivers say she appears suddenly in their headlights, a girl, pale, thin, her hair hanging wet as if she just climbed out of a river. She raises her hand, asking for a ride. Some slam the brakes, others keep driving, heart pounding, refusing to look. But those who stop swear they can still hear her voice. One trucker claimed he picked her up one night. He offered her a seat, a blanket, water. She smiled, silent, staring straight ahead. When he asked where she was headed, she whispered, "Home." He nodded, kept driving, eyes on the empty road. And then, when he turned back to check on her, she was gone. The blanket was still warm. The water bottle was half empty. And in the passenger seat was a wet footprint. Rebecca's story is only one of hundreds. From the deserts of Arizona to the pine forests of Oregon, America is haunted by phantom hitchhikers. No one knows why they return. Some say they're searching for a final ride that will take them home. Others believe they're bound to the spot where they died, forever replaying their last desperate journey. But one thing is certain: the road remembers tragedy, and when the living forget, the dead step in to remind them. Now we turn east to Highway 66 in Missouri. Truckers call it the Widow's Curve, a sharp bend, slick with rain and fog, where dozens of cars have spun out and plummeted into the ravine below. The state cleaned it up, added warning signs, even widened the road, but nothing stopped the accidents. Because it wasn't just the curve-killing drivers, it was something else. Motorists report a figure standing in the middle of the road, a woman dressed in black, with a veil covering her face. She steps into the headlights just before the curve, forcing drivers to swerve, to slam their brakes, to lose control. Some live to tell the tale. Many don't. Survivors all describe the same thing: the woman's eyes, dead black pits staring through the veil. One local legend claims she was a young bride, killed on that very curve decades ago on her wedding night. Her car slid off the cliff before she even cut the cake. Her groom survived. She didn't. And so she stands, night after night, stopping strangers, warning them, or perhaps dragging them into the same grave she fell into. The blacktop is smooth. The signs are bright. The guardrails are new. But still, the accidents pile up. The county coroner has a name for it. He calls it the widow's toll. And then there's Route 44 in Oklahoma, where the phantom doesn't wait by the roadside. It rides with you. Drivers report seeing a man on the side of the highway, arm raised, thumb out. If you pass him by, you'll see him again a mile later, and again, and again, always ahead of you, always waiting, no matter how fast you drive. But the real terror begins when you stop. They say if you dare to let him in, he climbs into the back seat. He never speaks. He just sits in the shadows, his face obscured, his presence heavy, like a weight pressing down on the car. Some drivers claim he vanishes after a few miles. Others say he never leaves at all. They look in the mirror, and he's still there, silent, watching. One man reported picking him up in 1993. The figure sat in the back for nearly 30 miles before disappearing. Weeks later, the man's wife swore she saw the same hitchhiker standing in their driveway. The husband never drove again. Not all roads lead home. Some roads lead nowhere. In the Appalachian Mountains, where fog rolls thick and the trees crowd close, there's a stretch of highway the locals simply call the Lost Mile. The state map shows nothing unusual, just 2 lanes of cracked pavement winding through forest. But drivers swear that if you enter it at the wrong time, you never come out the same way. One trucker told of entering the stretch at midnight. His headlights pierced the mist, but the road never ended. The mile dragged on for hours, his gas gauge dropping lower and lower. He swore he saw people walking along the shoulder, shadow figures, featureless, keeping pace with his rig. Finally, after what felt like half the night, the fog broke, and he emerged on the far side. His logbook said he'd been driving for 6 hours. The distance he covered? 1 mile. Others aren't so lucky. Cars vanish. Families disappear. Search crews comb the woods, but the road swallows its secrets. To this day, locals avoid the Lost Mile after dark, because if you see the shadows walking beside you, it may already be too late. Further north, in Connecticut, a narrow rural road has earned a name whispered in fear. Dudleytown Road. It passes the ruins of a settlement long abandoned, cursed by famine, madness, and death. Today, the town is gone. Only stone foundations and broken chimneys remain. But travelers who drive past at night describe the same encounter. A man, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, steps into the beam of the headlights. His eyes are empty sockets. His mouth hangs open in a scream that makes no sound. He doesn't ask for a ride. He doesn't move. He only stands there, staring, forcing drivers to veer off the road to avoid him. Some say he was one of the settlers, starved to death when the crops failed. Others say he was a victim of the curse itself, damned to haunt the ruins forever. But those who've seen him agree on one thing. Once you pass him, you'll dream of him every night, standing at the foot of your bed, waiting. But perhaps the most infamous phantom hitchhiker in America is not found in the woods or the mountains, but in the city, Chicago, Illinois. Resurrection Cemetery. For decades, cab drivers, truckers, and late-night motorists have told the same story. A young woman in a white dress appears on Archer Avenue, standing alone by the gates of the cemetery. She looks lost, frightened, sometimes even crying. Drivers, pitying her, stop and offer a ride. She climbs in, gives them an address, and rides silently in the passenger seat. But when the car reaches the gates of the cemetery, she vanishes. Locals call her Resurrection Mary. She's been seen since the 1930s. Some believe she was a girl killed in a car accident after a night of dancing. Others think she's an echo, a soul unable to leave the last place she loved. But hundreds of drivers swear they've carried her ghost. Police reports even document calls from frantic motorists who swear they hit a young woman, only to find no body, no blood, nothing but their own terror. Resurrection Mary has become a legend, but legends are born from something. And if you drive Archer Avenue late at night, when the cemetery gates glisten with frost, don't be surprised if you glimpse her in the rearview mirror. Highways are meant to carry us forward, but some carry us back to places we shouldn't return. Take Route 191 in Utah, known among truckers as the Devil's Highway. For years, it was officially numbered Route 666. Drivers hated it. Accidents piled up. Vehicles broke down without explanation. People claimed to see black dogs running alongside their cars, their eyes glowing red. Others swore they were chased by trucks with no drivers, roaring engines that vanished when the lights went out. And then there were the hitchhikers, a man in a flannel shirt, standing on the roadside, waving for help. If you stopped, he'd climb in, silent, reeking of smoke and gasoline. He'd ride for miles, never speaking, until suddenly he'd disappear, sometimes leaving scorch marks on the seat. The government changed the number to Route 191 in 2003, hoping to erase the curse. But the stories haven't stopped, because you can change the sign. You can pave the asphalt, but you can't bury what lives beneath the road. And still, the most terrifying stories come not from truckers, not from tourists, but from ordinary people. One winter night in Pennsylvania, a woman named Carol drove home from work on a snow-slick road. She saw a man ahead, shivering in the storm, his thumb out. Against her better judgment, she stopped. He climbed in, dripping wet, barely speaking, only whispering, "Thank you." She drove him several miles toward town, but when she glanced over, he was gone. The seat was soaked through. The smell of damp earth filled the car. Terrified, she sped the rest of the way home, Some highways don't just take you from one town to another. They take you into places where the rules of the living world no longer apply. In the endless stretches of Texas, truckers whisper about Route 281. Out there, where the desert meets the horizon, the nights are longer, darker, emptier than anywhere else. No gas stations, no houses, only the hum of the tires, the vibration of the steering wheel, and the constant fear that you're not alone. One long-haul driver swore he saw a figure running alongside his truck. At 70 miles per hour, something kept pace with him. Its form was human, but twisted, limbs too long, face hidden in shadow. He accelerated. So did it. He floored the gas. 80, 90, 100. Still, it ran beside him, slapping its hand against the passenger window, grinning with teeth far too many for a human mouth. When the driver finally roared into the next town, lights blazing, he collapsed outside his rig, trembling. No one believed him. But when the sheriff inspected the truck, he found smeared handprints along the entire passenger side, burned into the paint. In Nevada, a highway cuts through the desert, known as the loneliest road in America. Most who travel it describe the emptiness, the silence, the way the stars seem to press down on you like cold eyes watching from above. But others see more. They tell of a black sedan that appears in the rearview mirror. No headlights, no license plate, just a dark shape gliding closer and closer. If you speed up, it speeds up. If you slow down, it slows down. And then, without warning, it vanishes. Some drivers even claim it doesn't just follow, it hits them. They feel the impact, hear the crunch of metal, spin off the road, only to find no damage, no other car, nothing at all, just the desert, silent, endless, and merciless. Locals say it's the spirit of a family killed in a head-on collision decades ago. Their ghosts still drive, still hunt, forever searching for another car to drag into the dark. But not all haunted highways are barren. Some are alive with neon lights, with motels and diners. And even there, the ghosts find you. Take Route 375 in Nevada, better known as the Extraterrestrial Highway. It runs near the infamous Area 51, where rumors of UFOs and alien bodies refuse to die. Travelers on this road don't just report strange lights in the sky. They report hitchhikers, pale, hairless, with enormous eyes that shine in the headlights. Some stand silently by the roadside. Others try to climb into cars uninvited. One couple claimed they stopped for a figure waving desperately for help, but when they rolled down the window, the thing's skin stretched unnaturally tight across its skull, and its mouth opened wider than any human jaw should. They sped off, tires screaming, hearts pounding. For the rest of the night, the same pale figure appeared again and again, always ahead of them, always waiting. They never drove that road again. Then there is Clinton Road, New Jersey. Drivers call it the most haunted road in America. Just 10 miles long, winding through dense forest. But in those 10 miles, legends have piled up for decades. satanic rituals, mysterious lights, abandoned structures deep in the trees, and the ghost boy at the bridge. They say if you stop on the bridge and throw a coin into the water, a boy's hand will rise from the depths and return it. Many dismiss it as a campfire tale, but countless motorists swear they've seen wet fingerprints on their car windows after crossing the bridge. Some have even felt the weight of a small body sitting silently in the back seat, vanishing the moment they looked behind them. The county tried to dismiss the stories, but the accidents, the missing persons, the whispered warnings from locals, they all tell the same truth. Clinton Road is no ordinary road. It's a graveyard masquerading as a highway. Not all who encounter these roadside ghosts escape with only fear. In California, a man named Robert picked up a young woman late at night. She was standing barefoot by the Pacific Coast Highway, dressed in a tattered prom gown, mascara running down her cheeks. He offered her a ride, and she quietly thanked him. She gave him an address in Malibu. As they drove, she wept silently, clutching her dress, trembling as if freezing. When they arrived, Robert turned to tell her they'd reached her home, but she was gone. Confused, he knocked on the door. An older woman answered. When Robert asked if a young woman lived there, the woman's face went pale. She explained her daughter had died tragically years ago on prom night, struck by a drunk driver on that very highway. She wore the same dress, the same mascara. Robert never told the story again, but the house received more visitors, more drivers, more strangers, all describing the same girl. They linger